Shoes. Now sometimes I have elderly patients who might have a touch of neuropathy, necrosis, or just have hard shoes, and before they start wearing their orthotics they want to get their shoes soft. So what I do, I take some warm water, okay, we don't have to go mad with it, okay, get that out, turn the shower off. Then we want to take some, my personal favourite is Gold Label leather and saddle soap. Okay, now what we do is we get plenty of this. I'll just moisten it a bit there. We come through to here, get plenty on there, and then what we're going to do, we're going to start off inside the boot or shoe. Now Dr. Martens do tend to be quite hard anyway, so anybody might actually find this quite useful. Make sure it's rubbed in everywhere. You want to get your hand right inside, get all the front, make sure that saddle soap is soaked right in. Okay. Okay, you'll rub slightly longer than I'm doing here, but it just rubs it into the leather. Then we want to do the outside of the boot. Obviously don't try this on trainers because they're not leather, they're synthetic. Okay. Now what I generally do now is I'll rinse it. And then we're going to go again. Now you'll notice now on the second one we get a much more lathery soap. Saddle soap's great, but not all saddle soaps are created equal. The Gold Label one I particularly like because it's quite high in glycerin, that also helps to soften the leather. Get right inside, right up inside the toe box. Okay, I'll probably rub a little bit longer inside if I was doing it for real. So you get the picture. Now we want to make sure we've got a nice wet sponge now. We want to get that saddle soap rubbed right in. Now, when you're doing it for real, you'll spend longer rubbing the saddle soap in. Okay, now let's pretend now that we're leaving that for an hour. Okay, so it's an hour's gone by. Okay, right, an hour's up. So what I now do is wash it all off, make sure it's well rinsed, take it out, but the hard work's not over yet. So we're going to do one more, and we're going to rub that in to the boot or shoe for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Get it right in there. Now pretend that I've rubbed it in a bit longer, or else it's rather boring to watch. Okay, let's get all this inside here. Make sure saddle soap's well rinsed out. There is a thought that saddle soap's bad for leather. I've never found that. I've had shoes I've had for many years. I've always washed and softened with saddle soap, but I always use a hide foot straight after. So that's well rinsed. Okay. Now, don't you dare ever do this without good old-fashioned shoe trees. So we're going to pop those in, and we're going to leave them to dry. Make sure that the shoe tree is right up the end. We're going to leave it to dry possibly 2 to 3 days, depending on the climate. Right, now let's go through stage 2. Okay. Okay. Now after 2 or 3 days, we've now got our dry boots. Obviously this hasn't just been washed, so we're going to use Gold Label hide food. Okay, you can get the Gold Label stuff on it, eBay or Amazon. Okay, now what we're now going to do, we're going to take the hide food and we're going to rub it all into the boot. Okay, we're going to make sure that's rubbed right in, and we're going to also do it quite strangely on the inside of the leather too. Now where you've got quite porous leather there, we don't need too much on that. One thing that I did forget to say is, while the boot's still wet, you can just sort of sit and watch the TV for a while, and you might want to do that. Not with the hide food, but when it's wet with the soap. Okay, what I generally do is squeeze around there, making sure that gets all nice and soft. This is really good on the modern Dr. Martens, because since Solovair stopped making Dr. Martens in 1993, the leather really is shite. Okay, so I'll then squeeze like that. I'll move that, give that a squeeze the tongue there. Now this is while it's covered in soap. Now back to our hide food. So what I generally do, I keep rubbing in and rubbing in. Now hide food really feeds a boot or shoe beautifully, and where you've got areas, obviously this is just a quick little demo to show you, go inside all of the leather too. So okay, yeah, now what I tend to do now is to leave that for a while. Where you've got areas like that, if you see there, especially in Dr. Martens, that I've ended up with holes in Dr. Martens there, which is why I always get the solovairs now. But that area there and that area there, especially if your foot tends to crease a boot, if you take it and rub that in like that, if you can get inside the boot into the leather, if it's not too porous, just rub it in and rub it in. Just massage it in by hand on the creases. Probably being a physical therapist, it's quite easy for me because I can actually use massage, so I can use a little bit of digital friction. I can use a little bit of so rub that in. I tend to leave it on all day. This is one of the leather feeds that you don't have to take it off before it dries, which is great. Now, what I tend to do is just put it downstairs, and then sort of in between every patient, I'll just rub another coat in. And then at the end of the day, when your boot's been thoroughly soaked, then it's time to polish. Now, look at that come up. Now that's hide food. Okay, now hide food is great because it feeds leather far more than polishes do. It not only feeds it, it softens the leather too and preserves it, which means that all these areas here, especially in the Dr. Marten leather, it makes it far more less likely to split, simply because the leather's able to move nice and fluidly. Okay, so just take your time. Don't forget, while it's wet with the soap, after the hour, scrunch your boot up, make sure everything's nice and soft, yeah? And this part here, this is while it's wet with the saddle soap. Just before you rinse it off, put your shoe tree in, let your boots dry for 2, maybe 3 days, and off you go with your hide food. Rub it in the whole day, just keep it going. Your boots will be like slippers. Bye.